there, Taylor. Hi. Hi there. Are you a good girl? Good girl.
Taylor is one of the best dogs I've ever had. I love this dog. We got her as a rescue dog, and we've just loved her. She's been a great dog, but there's one thing about her that we learned when we first got her that has been a little bit disturbing to us. When she scratches after she goes out in the yard, she'll scratch like with enthusiasm, throwing grass everywhere. It doesn't matter pee poo, it doesn't matter. She's just throwing grass everywhere. Well, we learned real quick that once she goes number 2, you better move her out of the way, because when she starts to kick, she starts kicking that poo like if she's too close. And once I was right behind her and I just got covered in it. Like there was nothing, no getting out of the way. She's just doing what, dogs do and scratching, but it was just throwing this stuff all over. And there was another family member that had a similar experience that we'll keep that family member unnamed, but just like dodging ahead because she's kicking that high and it was with all that stuff. Now this gave me a visual of some scripture that I've been thinking about lately, as in 1 Corinthians 15:33 through 34. Do not be deceived. Bad company ruins good morals. Wake up from your drunken stupor, as is right, and do not go on sinning, for some have no knowledge of God. I say this to your shame. Now, this is in response to when somebody says, it doesn't matter who I hang out with. I can hang out with my friend who's not a Christian. And what the scripture is telling us is like hanging out with the dog. You can't get out of the way. You're going to get covered in this stuff if you hang out with that person. Another scripture comes from Proverbs 12:26. One who is righteous is a guide to his neighbor, but the way of the wicked leads them astray. It's not about not having friends who aren't Christians, but it's about how much you are putting them as part of your lives. Have you ever invited your friend who's not a Christian to church? What is your relationship with them? Are you just combining them and getting covered in sin? And eventually, the scripture doesn't say that you can hang out with them and be all right. It says that if you are entwining your life with them, it will lead you astray. There's even a stronger warning. If you are hanging out with people who claim to be Christians and aren't. If you go to 1 Corinthians chapter 5, verses 11 through 13, it says this, But now I am writing to you not to associate with anyone who bears the name of brother, if he is guilty of sexual immorality or greed, or is an idolater, reveler, drunkard, or swindler, not even to eat with such a one. So if they're in sin, and they call themselves a brother, you're not supposed to do it. And it goes on, it says, For what have I to do with judging outsiders? Is it not those inside the church whom you are to judge? God judges those outside. Purge the evil person from among you. We are supposed to hold each other accountable. And if we have a brother that's bringing shame on God's name, we are not supposed to hang around them at all. We're not even supposed to eat with such a one. We're not supposed to invite him over for dinner and have some friends, play some games. We're not supposed to do that. Now, this whole message is about bad company doesn't maybe corrupt good morals. The scripture tells us that it will corrupt the good morals. You will get that poo flipped on you, and it will affect you. I have one last scripture I would like to read because it kind of sums up everything that we're talking about and it fits it in. It's the chapter, Psalm 1. Blessed is the man who walks not in the counsel of the wicked, nor stands in the way of sinners, nor sits in the seat of scoffers, but his delight is in the law of the Lord, and on his law he meditates day and night. He is like a tree planted by streams of water that yields its fruit in its season, and its leaf does not wither. In all that he does, he prospers. The wicked are not so, but are like chaff that the wind drives away. Therefore the wicked will not stand in the judgment, nor sinners in the congregation of the righteous. For the Lord knows the way of the righteous, but the way of the wicked will perish. And we want to prosper. We want to bear fruit for God. We don't want to be like this chaff that the wind drives away. Just pay attention to who you are hanging out with and what's being flung at you. Well, I hope this has blessed you and give you something to think about. Shalom.